Now playing against Pringles, okay. I'm just trying to see if this is actually his name. There's some confusion about this before the game started, guys. So sorry, give me 1 second here. No, just gonna go with Pringles, known as Zoj on the brackets. Alright, guys. Welcome to another best of 3, perhaps one of the last ones of the day. This is the round of 16. This is when all things come to an end for this first Dreamhack qualifier. It's been an honor and a pleasure to cast these matches for you, and I want to thank you all for tuning in and having a good time with me. Currently, at the time of this shout out, it's about 1,300 people, way more than I would have ever expected to be joining us for the StarCraft broadcast, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning here in the upper right corner of the map, playing for the team NrS, it's the blue Protoss player Welmu. And of course, his opponent in the lower left. His name is like Zog, something like that on the brackets, but we see him here as the Pringles man. And an appropriate red color, and a circular icon to boot. But Welmu, we've had the pleasure of casting quite a few of his games today. He is certainly no Elfie when it comes to PvP, but he's really damn close. He's a really good Protoss player, and someone in chat calling me out for my fast talking at the end of that last game. I'm sorry, it's just when you're solo casting and you don't have someone to like interrupt you, you get excited and get carried away really quickly. And sadly, I hate to admit it, I have passion for StarCraft 2, and I get really excited watching things like what just happened. So I will keep it in mind. I'll try not to go full on auctioneer on you guys. It happens when I solo cast, because normally when you dual cast, you're having a conversation with another player. You're saying, oh, do you think this will work? But instead, you're just trying to get all the information out in the field that you want. So my sincerest apologies on that regard. But both players opening very similarly right now. Checking the gas counts. A little bit later here for Pringles, but that's okay. These are different variations of somewhat the same opening. PvP can be very volatile. I just realized I didn't talk about this. It's kind of like my go-to thing for PvP. I really like this matchup when it gets beyond a best of 1. So the problem is, like, if you do a best of 3, or a best of 1 rather, it usually ends up being kind of like an all-in play from both players. But if you do a best of 3, they get to suss each other out. They realize like the defensive capabilities, the aggressive capabilities, and that might sound like a lot of like hoity-toity, like namby-pamby stuff to you guys, but it's really important in this matchup because it's suddenly the difference of Welmu knowing whether he's able to go Dark Templar or whether he's forced to go for like a 4-gate. And Pultz equals CSH on the brackets. Sorry guys, for those who don't know, he doesn't use his name Pultz. Someone's saying this is Oz. I don't know. I can't confirm that for you. I'll look into it as soon as the game is done. For the time being, we're just going to assume it's the happy Pringles man who makes delicious salted chips. But okay, Dark Templar going to come out. First blood may be had. Probe has 5 health on it. Come on, Rifkin, don't mess this up. The stream is depending on you. The pressure is there. This probe should
first blood
go down. All right. So Dark Shrine is on the way for Welmu. Kind of a cool idea to go for this early in the game. This early in a series even. But I guess if he's banking trying to catch his opponent off guard, it would work really well. But as we see, Robo Facility on the way. This is something very common. A big reason you get the Sentry is if you don't have an observer or something on the field, you can force field out the Dark Templar. Not an issue. Every Protoss player has probably got the timings pretty much memorized and down pat for when Dark Templar hit. But yeah, I don't know. Getting a Robo Facility is a very common thing as well. So relying on Dark Templar for the sake of Dark Templar, I don't think will work for Welmu. But if he uses these more in the effect to break force fields and incorporate Archons into his army, I can see that being a little more effective. Okay, pylon built here. There's not a lot to report on. We get the proxies being set up by Welmu because, of course, he wants to get those Dark Templar shipped across the field ASAP. But with the sentry block on the ramp, the Dark Templar will have to attack and trigger the attention of Pringles to know that something's up. And Observer's coming up a little bit delayed, but Force Field can go down. Force Field does go down. Gets one of their Dark Templar through, though. And, of course, some probes gonna run for their lives in the meantime. One Dark Templar in the main gonna do a bunch of damage, but there's the Observer, and gets 4 kills, almost 5 there, I believe, at the end. But Dark Templar in the natural gonna do some work here too. But okay, a couple kills. Small investment for Welmu. This wasn't a round of like 10 Dark Templar. This was just 2. He expanded behind this, albeit behind his opponent. But he's not out of the game. This build order was rough. It got countered. But that's not the end. War Prism going to be coming out, trying to utilize more Dark Templar play later on. Hoping to find Pringles out of the base. Maybe catch him a little off guard. And even if not, Dark Templar Zealots can be a huge boon to just kind of throw into your opponent's main. Alright, there's a lot of people in chat saying this is Oz. Let me try messaging the admin and see if I can confirm whether that's true or not. I'll let you guys know when I know. I don't want to confirm it, because I don't know. I mean, just because 100 people say it doesn't mean it's true, but that'd be cool. That'd be really cool if it is Oz. Okay, finally getting cleared out here. Welmu doesn't really care though, because of course he has the Warp Prism available for Warp-ins. Gonna pick up this first Dark Templar initially. I don't know. I see the potential of this going well, because right now what Pringles is doing, he's gearing up for a macro game. He's getting the Colossus on the field. He's getting ready for that fight that comes later on, but Welmu's not wanting to go that way. He's saying, look, you go your way, I'll go mine, and I'm going to try and keep you from going to that in-game Colossus phase. But if those Colossus get on the field, Archons won't cut it. Zealots won't cut it. Well, maybe Archons will cut it, but what currently Welmu has on the field will not hold well against a giant Immortal Stalker army that has Colossus backing it up. However, the one thing that's going well for him is Phoenix is going to try and confirm that the army's not in the main. Once he confirms this, he can send the Dark Templar in to try and pick off a few more units. He's also going to make sure there's no cannon here to auto-detect, and with that sort of wave of clearance, may just send a unit in. Yeah, here we go. Now, the big thing here, too, keeping this Warp Prisms alive is really important. Let's say Pringles decides to move out. Well, Welmu's going to want him to come back home. Best way to do that, warp in like 7 Zealots. Draw the attention of your opponent. Make it big, make it flashy, but Pringles not giving a good gosh darn. Just going to march across the field. Archon Warp... Oh, this is not going to be going good. This is like one Immortal and an Archon. Look at the units on the field, guys. This is not looking good for Welmu, but he is doing a ton of damage. Overcharge was popped. 11 workers have been killed so far this game. The Dark Templar has another 6 on them. But the big question is whether or not Welmu can hold this. This is not going to be easy. Cannons are coming down almost out of desperation, knowing that he can't produce enough units. Oh, a Colossus is tricked into being made, so maybe Pringles will think this is the same composition, but it's not going to be. And the Archon doesn't. Scumbag Archon doesn't break the force fields for the Zealots to retreat out of. Photon Overcharge doing work on these Stalkers, but isn't going to be enough. And my answer, I'm thinking, is going to be no. We do see Pringles just pushing in hard here. That Colossus has no answer to it. The Immortal's been busted down. There is Dark Templar coming in, but there are Dark Templar coming in, but actually, this might work. There's no Observer here. Welmu did snipe off the Observer of his opponent, so the one thing going for him is these Dark Templar have nothing to shut them down. One real Colossus comes out, and Pringles is actually going to be shut down by this. He shouldn't be, but the lack of Observer is going to get him killed. This Nexus is going to fall, though. In the end, still a rough spot to be in for Welmu. Holds that masterfully. But what he's left with on the field is 5 Dark Templar, which can be shut down pretty easily. 1 Colossus definitely going in his favor. But here we go, the continued Warp-ins at home. This is what he needs to do. Welmu, you brilliant guy. Sniping off that Observer was such a big deal. Now, of course, there's another Observer here, so the Dark Templar are limited on what it can do, but such a great move out of Welmu, guys. Really well held together. Honestly, a panic attack going through my mind trying to watch that. I can only imagine how crazy he was about deciding, like, oh my god, this Colossus at my door. How do I hold this? I only have Archons. Okay, another big Warp and Zealots coming in here. No Overcharge available just yet. But, oh, actually, sorry, that wasn't Welmu's. I couldn't tell. That looked like Welmu's Zealots, but not the case. Warp Prism, though, going to allow him to turn on the heat. He's got 1 level weapon upgrades above his opponent. Neither player has Thermal Lance yet. Archon's going to be very superior in this regard, and continuing to snipe off the Observers, knowing how important that is, that cloak effect. That's the one truest advantage he has over his opponent at this point. But 3 Archons, a couple Zealots, going to find a lot of Zealots to greet them, and will back up almost immediately. Going to try and get a couple kills. Lots of Zealots waiting to engage, of course. Archon's going to be some big splash damage, and oh dear. Overcharge is popped, meaning there's not a second follow-up, but this gives Welmu time to get more units across the field. However, if Pringles Can get another Colossus. There we go. Does come out. Thermal Lance finished. He'll be on a giant advantage in that regard, but I don't know. It's so hard to call it because defensively speaking, Pringles should be able to hold this. But considering what I just saw, Welmu shouldn't be at this stage of the game. So crazy predicament to be in. Gets that observer. I don't believe there's any detection left on the field at this point for Pringles. One observer, where is it? Coming out fresh, brand new. A cannon has been placed down in the main, so that much is there. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Archon's just tentative. They don't really want to engage this. It's kind of a bad choke to go in on. Coming up the ramp. Ugh, first volley goes off. Peppers those Archons quite hard, actually. Not something you can afford to let happen, but this is the advantage of extended thermal lance. Archon's actually almost dead. Gonna send Welmu back home. Oh dear, Welmu of course gonna take some damage from these stalkers as well, but has warped in while this is going on. Yes, there's a cannon there, but it's being focused on by the Zealots. This is not a Dark Templar warping, guys. And a cannon goes down. Now suddenly Dark Templar are more viable. But here comes the Colossus popping out just in the nick of time. One DT could be warped in now. We can finish off all of these probes with very little resistance. Zealots actually almost get the Colossus to half. Quite nicely done there. But Welmu, I don't know. This is going to be another tough hold for him. Photon Overcharge popped off immediately because, of course, he doesn't know if that Mothership Core will live long enough to see it happen again. Warp Prism coming over here. Another Warp in probably on top of the cannon. Nope, gonna actually shut the Warp Prism down. This is the biggest thing Welmu had going for him, constantly applying pressure behind enemy lines while he was under attack at home. Oh dear, oh dear. Sorry, taking a deep swig of water. And I'm trying consciously not to go into auctioneer mode, but when so much is happening, I just get so excited and it's really easy to just turn on overdrive mode for talking, so my apologies, guys, but charge coming out for both of these players. Welmu, again, like, it just, losing that Warp Prism really hurt. Pringles? Okay, he doesn't know. It's a little bit odd that he doesn't know about that pylon. Or he knows about the pylon, rather he's letting it live. Zealot for Zealot, though, do have the upgrade advantage in Welmu's favor, but of course he took about 2 extra hits there. If he had just engaged straight on, maybe a little bit different, but comes out victorious swinging. 1 health on that Zealot and 1 kill as well. There we go, pylon is cleaned up. Thermal Lance should be for both players now. Yes, correct in that regard. Welmu with the upgrade advantage. Pringles also slightly supply blocked for the time being. Let's see if the... Okay, so this is Oz. Going off of what Welmu said in the tournament admins, guys, it's safe to call him Oz, but I think Pringles is a little more fun, so we'll address him in as Oz in future games, but admins, not really confirmed, but agreed. Alright, so it's actually going to get kind of shredded to bits here. Not a big... Okay, so this stage of the game, right? Like, Zealots are not really that effective anymore, even with charge. However, you're not at max. You can't afford to throw these units away for free, and trying to split up the army was the goal of Oz right there. Or sorry, Pringles, I should say. But gonna find a bit of a choke here. Archon's gonna soak a lot of this damage, and that first Colossus taking the hits. Oh, no recall now available. However, the Time Warp will buy him a little bit of time to get away here. Zealot's charging in, though. Oh, Welmu connecting to so many of these Colossi, and he really shouldn't be able to. But meanwhile, Natural Base being ransacked. However, Dark Templar warped in to defend against that. And these Colossus are low. They do get away, but is it going to be enough to matter? Because the next time they engage, these are going to be crippled units going into the fight, guys. 2 upgrades, sorry, not 2, rather 2 upgrades apiece for each of these players on the weapons. We got Pringles coming up for level 3, but of course Welmu's going to beat him to it by quite a large margin. And if Colossus don't do enough damage already, don't forget the Archons get a massive boost too. And oh, I can't show you! I gotta figure out what's doing that. I keep saying I'll do it between games, and then I don't look, because we're so busy getting into the next game. But yeah, if a best of 3 is in store, guys, and if any of the other games go anywhere half as close as well as this one does, I'm very excited to follow these guys for the rest of the day. As again, this might be the last series we get to cast today. It'd be really heartbreaking if it is, but absolutely worthwhile. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, it's not over yet. So don't get too sad, guys. Don't get too sad. But Welmu and Oz just posturing off. Oh no! Now that I know he's Oz, I keep calling him Oz, but I want to just keep calling him Pringles. Okay, unit counting station, unit for unit, 18 Zealots to 18 Zealots, 8 Archons to 3, and 7 Colossi to 5. I think this is where the heavy hitting is going to come in. No Immortals are on the field, curiously enough. Now, this makes a lot of sense because it's a lot of bio composition in regards to, well, I guess Archons aren't really bio, they're psionic, but Zealots and Archons are going to keep Immortals from really coming out prevalent. Archons would be great at starting to get close and knocking down the Colossus, but of course with so much splash damage going on, you can't safely start making Immortals this late. If Immortals were already incorporated with the army, it'd be pretty nice, but the Archon's going to do a good job as well. Like, don't mistake what I'm saying here for like what should happen. Like, what's on the field is good for Welmu. Both players with a ton of Archons, ton of shreddy bits, but Pringle's going to take a 4th base a little bit quicker than Welmu. Constant Warpins coming in from the very lower corner of the map. Zealot's not going to cause too much damage here. Archon's ready to respond, and yeah, might get a probe killer too, but there are of course cannons ready to deter this as well, so should hold on for another fight. How many workers even been killed this game? 22 and 11 apiece, so nothing too crazy. We got awkward pylons coming up here in the top corner of the map. Well, not even top corner, but like top center of the map. And I believe there's actually something I can do here to control groups. Control Shift G. There you guys go. Always forget you can do that. So you guys talk about control groups. Can take a look at that now. The Zealots are trying so hard. They're trying their damnedest to pull Welmu apart, but Welmu is not even phased by these run-bys, not even in the slightest. I would love if Welmu got another Warp Prism on the field. So many times you see these Colossus fights where you have that one Warp Prism kind of swing around back and warp in some Zealots right on top of the Colossi. I think that would be phenomenal for this sort of matchup, at least with the course of the way this game's going, but as is, guys, we're going to see this like death ball clash of armies, clash of titans that is going to come down really to who can remax faster. Now, bringing that up, we do have 2 robos each, so lots of the slow tech will be replaced really quickly. But I fear it's going to come down. If Welmu snipes off that observer again, I don't think Pringles is going to be able to afford to make another, because if he spends time making observers, he's not going to be getting Colossi out to match his opponents. And if he's not getting Colossi out, Dark Templar could change the course of the game. But Pringle's getting his own Dark Shrines, kind of recognizing that that's an option for him as well, I guess. Blink in suit, but Archon's going to charge right on in, take too much damage, pops 2 Archons immediately, and no es bueno. But looks like we got a bit of a harass going on down here as well. Almost gets the cannon, 3 health remaining. But Welmu is like a predator, guys, just stalking his prey. Doesn't care about this counterattack going on. Nexus will certainly fall, but that's okay. So many Zealots devoted to the north means there's even less down here in the south, and Welmu, I think, recognizes this. Why did the control groups go away? There we go. Because I deselected a unit. Derp. But his own Zealot's going to try and connect to the Immortals. Oh, this is going to be big, guys. If he can knock out these Immortals with just Zealots, of course, with Charge, should be able to do precisely that. And like I said, getting Immortals in the army would be nice, but not able to do even that. Pringles now is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Can't move out of his third. Zealot's going to keep ravaging the main. And attack hitting here, lots of cannons. Oh my god, Pringle's playing a sorry cannon defense, I guess. That one cannon with 1 health should live to see another day, I think. No, does get torn down, but Zealots are depowering the main. This is what's really important. Welmu's not causing game-ending damage over here, but he's getting into the base, like even just from a mental point of view. Pringles is being compromised. He can't hold on. Oh, gonna tear down this base too. Army is not here ready to defend. It wants to come in from the side. Time Warp preemptively thrown down, and this Nexus will fall. So trading Nexus for Nexus should be able to get on out of here. Has enough energy to recall if he gets in a really sticky situation, but recognizing that his opponent is trying to reposture, Welmu does pull back a little bit early, but that's okay. Gets the Nexus, and that, of course, was the key point of that. One Zealot going to town, and oh my god, he's gonna get the Forge. Oh, he's gonna get those level 2 weapon upgrade, or sorry, armor upgrades. And that's one distinct advantage Welmu's had this game. Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. And Pringles was about to catch up and just got denied due to not paying attention to 1 Zealot in the main. A little bit of a rough thing to have happen, but hey, it has to happen. Stalker's just shelling away at this Nexus. Should get shut down here. Lots of trading going on. This is This is Protoss vs. Protoss, guys. If you're new to StarCraft 2, the word trade doesn't typically exist in a lot of Protoss vocabularies. That's not me making a comment on race or anything like that, but realistically, when you play Protoss vs. Protoss, you're slugging it out. You're going all in versus all in type thing. Not a build order all in, mind you, but I'm saying you're going hard or you're going home. And this is actually a game where there's been a lot of trading going on, and I'm actually really stoked that I've got to cast this. This has been insane. 10 Colossi to 9, 13 Archons to 11, so both players have a small advantage in that regard, but Pringles, or sorry, no player has an advantage in that regard, but Pringles does have those Immortals I was talking about so fondly earlier on the field. If the Immortals go down, sorry, if the Colossi don't have these Archons to buffer, the Immortals will tear the Colossus to bits. But of course, it's not going to be easy getting there. You've kind of got these layers in Protoss vs. Protoss, right? Archons are going to be on the front lines. Zealots will be in front of them if there are even Zealots on the field at this stage of the game. Then you got your Immortals. Then you got your Colossi. And really, you got to make sure you engage properly. But okay, not going to go well there for Pringles, forcing a big split immediately. So many Archons getting right on forward. We got laser beams going left and right, but looks like Pringles going to group up, allowing the Colossus and the Archons to focus fire, and as they focus their beams, we see the army dissipating. And with that, good game is called. Welmu will take a 30-minute game on Whirlwind from what is now known as Evil Genius's Oz.